Hello everyone, this is Jim Kirian from the EQUELLA team with another EQUELLA bulk importer tutorial. So we'll start with multi-value metadata fields. An example of multi-value metadata fields are keywords in this wizard here. So you'll see in the keywords field we're using a shuffle list and there's multiple values for the one possible metadata field. It also appears inside the item display template here, so we can see that there's multiple values in the keywords. And if we look at the underlying metadata over here, we can see that it actually is represented this way. So we've got inside the metadata element here, we've got an element called keywords, and then keyword is repeated. And that's why we say that keyword is a multi-value field. So we can achieve the same outcome using an EQUELLA bulk import. So the first step is to determine the XPath of that metadata field that we want to populate. Now I saw it in the item XML, but just to be sure, I'm going to have a look inside the administration console at the collection definition editor. So over here in the wizard, I can see that the XPath is metadata, keywords, keyword. So that's what I'm going to use inside my CSV. So we're going to add a column and we're going to give it the column heading metadata, keywords, keyword, as that's the XPath we want to use. So we can put, again, values underneath this column heading, but the difference is we're going to put multiple values per cell and we're going to separate them with a string or a character of our choice. I'm going to use a pipe because pipes tend to not appear inside text often. Newtonian is my second keyword. And they're all the same topic, so I'm going to use the same keywords for both, for all of my items. I save my CSV and go back to the EBI. Now here in the EBI, the last time we used it, it only had 3 columns that it knew of. So if I tried to do a test import, it will come back with an error and say my CSV has additional columns. They don't match what's already in the screen on the EBI, and that's what this error says. And what we can do is we can hit the reload CSV. And that will say, do you want to update what's in the screen? And I say yes, and we can see that the 4th column is now being imported in. So its column data type is metadata, and that is correct. The difference though now, I don't want that entire string imported as a single value. I want it to be separated by my special character. My special character that I call a delimiter. So over here in the delimiters part of the configuration, I specified that I'm using pipes to delimit the values inside this column. So on the CSV, we're using pipes here to delimit the values, and in the EBI, we've actually specified over here that, yes, pipes are what we're going to use to separate the values inside each cell where there's multiple values. Now we're ready to do a test, so I'll just bring up my terminal so that we can see it in action. And when I hit test now, it goes through and validates all the possible values. Now, a tip for the EBI, if we want to see any metadata output to the terminal as we're importing, what we can do is we can check these checkboxes on any of the values that we want to see it. So I can say I want the title displayed and I want the keywords displayed. So by checking those two and doing the test again, we'll see that now we're getting a bit more information on the terminal. We're getting the title output, so we can see the first one, circular motion diagram, and we can see that the keywords are truly separated. So metadata keywords, keyword physics, metadata keywords, keyword Newtonian. So it has actually split that string in the cell by the delimiter, so it's looking pretty good and there's no errors. At the bottom we can see again success 3. So I feel pretty confident. I'll just check that back here in the resources collection that I don't have any content. Okay, that's good to go. So let's go ahead and do a real run. Again, I'll just get the terminal there so I can see it and hit start import. and it's imported all three. Again, success 3 I can see at the bottom there. So when I do the search again, we can see all the items are in there, and when we go ahead and look at one, now we can see the keywords are there, and sure enough they've been split, separated, and it's being displayed here in the item display template as separate values. If we want to be absolutely sure, we can go into the wizard and we can see there it is mapped to the shuffle list as separate values as well. And one last check, we can go to the actual item metadata and double check that we're getting that multi-values in the keywords keyword field. They've been split and put in as separate values. Now another way to specify multi-value fields inside a CSV is to actually spread them out across multiple columns in the spreadsheet, and that's sometimes a useful way of doing it. So if we want to do it that way, we'd put in just one value in each cell, although we could still put multiple values and still use multiple columns as well, but I'm just going to keep it simple for now. And we repeat the metadata XParts here. So as you'll see, I've now got 3 metadata keywords keyword columns, and if I then put my values over here, physics Newtonian, and over here I might put science, and just to mix it up a little bit, I might put calculus over here, and I'll put tree over here, and one more, I'll put Newton over here. So what we have now is the first item is going to have 3 keywords, the second one's only going to have 2, and the third one's going to have 3 as the first does. So we'll go ahead and save the CSV and go back and to the EBI. And again, if I try to do a test, it'll say the column headings don't match. I've added some additional columns. So again, I have to reload the CSV. And you'll see now I can see that there's actually 2 additional columns, which makes 3 columns all of the same XPath, which is fine. Now I'm not using that delimiter anymore, and there's no harm in leaving it there, but I'll remove it anyway just to remove any confusion. And now it's looking pretty good. Just to be sure, I'm going to put all of these columns out to display and just see how it looks. So I'll do my test import, and looking at the output, it looks pretty good. I can see here's the first item, physics, Newtonian, science. The second item is physics and calculus, and no keyword for the third, and physics, trigonometry, and Newton for the third item. Okay, I think that's looking pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and do a real upload. So hit start, and processing is complete, and we have 3 successes. So again, that's great. Let's go have a look at EQUELLA. We'll do our search in the resources collection, and here are the 3 items we just uploaded. So we'll look at the information. We've got physics, trigonometry, and Newton. It did it again. It put the separate keyword values, which is exactly what we wanted. So there's 2 ways of achieving multi-value fields. Either use a single column and use a delimiter, or put multiple columns without a delimiter, and in fact you can use a combination of both.